WWE Hell in a Cell is done and over with, and I'm not ashamed to say that I think there wasn't a single bad match in the entire card. With that said, it wasn't perfect either, but I think the show in general turned out much better than a lot of people may have anticipated. If you haven't watched the show yet, you really should, if you have time though, because it was ridiculously long. Did I miss something? Why was it longer than usual this time? Anyway, regardless of the length, it's probably been one of the best shows this year. So, with that said, let's take a look at the event itself, shall we? And so, the New Day start the show by being the New Day that we all know by now, and once the Samoan twins joined them, the match begins, and holy shit! It was only about halfway done when I was thinking, fuck! How the hell is the rest of the card gonna top this? But that was a rhetorical question, because I knew it wouldn't happen, that the only match that might get close would be Shane versus Owens. The Hell in a Cell match has gotten lots of flack for still existing in PG WWE since the pay per view became a thing, but if there has ever been a show that actually lived up to its name, it was this match that did so. There were bongs, handcuffs, and lots of kendo sticks swinging. When the Usos had Xavier cuffed on that ring post and went at him with the sticks, it was brutal. I legitimately felt sorry for the man. But ultimately, despite New Day being the ones that challenged the Usos to take them out in the cell, it was the Usos that walked out 5-time tag team champions. If any match on this event will be remembered, it will be this one. Oh, and Shane versus Owens, of course. Then, after that badass match, we have the match for a feud that's been a snooze fest since it began. The match itself was just fine, but having Orton win does next to nothing for him and just further solidifies the fact that poor Roode just hasn't mattered to the powers that be for a good while now. Thanks to the excitement of the previous match, this one didn't seem as dull as it might have otherwise, and both men put in their usual great work. Now we just wait and see if this will continue. And I hope it doesn't, so that both men can move on to something hopefully a lot more interesting, because both could really use a breath of fresh air. Orton wins, hooray, let's move on. So apparently in the pre-show, which I don't watch because it doesn't matter enough to me if it doesn't matter enough to Vinnie Mac to put it in the main card, Daniel Bryan made Styles versus Corbin a triple threat, adding Dillinger to the match. And this was a great move because I honestly wasn't all that excited for the singles match we thought we were going to see. All three men looked fantastic in it, and I think everyone came out looking stronger by the time it was all said and done. Corbin's now picked up his first WWE Championship, and although the build-up wasn't as great as it could have been, this match pretty much made the entire rivalry, and I'm actually fully interested to see where it goes now that Corbin is champion. AJ is one of the greatest talents today, Dillinger is also very talented, and Corbin seems to be improving over time, and this match and his promo when he challenged AJ to the match seem to indicate so. If this match isn't fondly remembered a decade from now, it'll be only because it was overshadowed by the two cell matches. Good on you, big man. Now run with that ball, please. The match for the women's title was a good one, and the ending was particularly memorable. Remember how heelish Charlotte used to be? She was a real bitch. Speaking of which, remember when she disowned her father in front of the whole world, and months back, the WWE told us that she was okay with adding Flair in her name again? What a load of horseshit. But anyway, the ending was memorable because Natalya showed a vicious side to her that we don't get to see from the women too often. This definitely made me feel sympathetic towards Charlotte, even if she is a liar and I'm not sure I'll ever get past the Flair name thing. Oh, and while we're at it, how is it smart to do a moonsault from the top of the turnbuckle to the outside when your knee has been attacked the entire match? That was just idiotic as hell. Seriously, why would you want to potentially hurt yourself even more? That spot made no sense. But Natalya destroys Charlotte's knee the whole match, then disqualifies herself by hitting her repeatedly with a steel chair and retains the title. Here's to hoping the women's feud only gets better from here. That promo by Owens, that was good stuff. But Owens tends to deliver good stuff often, doesn't he? Feel the hype for the match! The bulletin board stuff has always been good stuff with this whole fashion files thing, but that's about where the good ends. These segments were good, but they were supposed to have ended an eternity ago. Do the writers even know how they're gonna end this thing at this point? Because it sure doesn't look like it. Both Breezango and The Ascension could really use some new stuff. Seriously, what a waste of time, talent, and resources. I just want this to end already. The WWE Championship match. What can one say about this one? It was a good match, and the crowd managed to get more into it than I thought they would. The Singh brothers distract the referee and Nakamura repeatedly to help Jinder get the victory. Now, where have we seen that one before? Nakamura loses, Jinder is still champ, and now where do we go from here? I really wanted to like Jinder when he first won the title out of nowhere, but it's just impossible to get behind him. His entire run has been stale, boring, and just not worth watching. The only reason I'll remember his title reign by the time it's over is because of how bad it's been. Sorry, Jinder. It's not all your fault. You've just been given a lot of shit to work with. And one can't pick up a turd by a clean end. Also, Nakamura just keeps losing more and more and more of his aura every week. Ugh, I miss his NXT days. Bobby Roode debuts against Dolph Ziggler. This whole thing isn't completely bland only because the glorious one is new to the scene. But it kind of takes a hit when you think about how the two men are feuding over entrances. The commentators even mentioned it during the match, and that's just sad. I think everyone knows how good Ziggler is, but he's been lost for a while now, and his whole entrance copying shtick has just been Roode wins by beating Ziggler at his own tight-pulling game, but Ziggler quickly hits him with the zigzag and leaves him on the canvas. So obviously this will continue, and like Nakamura, I'm afraid that Roode will lose some of his luster because of it. I also miss his NXT days already. Please prove me wrong and give these two good stuff to work with. I want to be entertained so I can praise everything. What was it that I said in the first Cell match? Oh, that's right. Holy shit! Owens cannonballed himself through a table. Both men fought on top of the cell. Both repeatedly slammed each other onto the roof of the cell, legitimately making this guy nervous about the possibility that one of them or both could fall through and land on their heads in the ring. But thankfully, they built the thing well and it didn't happen. As legendary as it made Mick Foley, we don't need to see that again, I think. And this match was brutal enough as it is without it, with Shane also repeatedly using the halves of the broken table to beat down Kevin powerbombing Shane onto steel steps, Shane throwing Owens through the Spanish announce table, siempre esa pinche mesa, Owens placing Shane on the table and teasing that he'd jump off, only to hesitate and not do it, thankfully, because just thinking about that makes me queasy as well. And Shane, of course, jumping off the damn cell again. The motherfucker did it again! Christ, what a bump! If the tag team cell match wasn't the match of the night, this one certainly was, but the title can definitely be shared by both of the matches tonight. These two matches are ones that will be remembered and talked about for years and years to come. A fitting destiny that celebrates the 2 decades of the match type. Oh, and of course, once the dust had settled, the replays showed that Sami Zayn pulled Owens off the announce table to save his pudgy ass. And I for one certainly didn't see that one coming, and now I really want to see what they do with all three men from this point onward. SmackDown should be interesting for the next few weeks now. They've set themselves up for interesting stuff. And so that was it. That was Hell in a Cell 2017. A damn good show, in case I haven't made that opinion clear by now. Whether you agree or disagree with this is completely up to you. But that was it for this video, and I might make another one later on this week, or I might not, I don't know. These videos take hours to produce and upload and make, and so it's very time consuming. I don't know if I'll be doing multiple videos a week. We're gonna see about that. But if I don't see you this week, I'll see you again next week with another video. If you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe. And if you like the Twitter, then follow me on the Twitter at Wrestling20x20. But that was it for now. This was 20x20, and I'll catch you in the next one, brother.